Welcome to Because Growth Matters, the podcast for sales professionals, business leaders, and growth-driven teams. I'm your host, Daniel Robus, and we are here to rethink how we lead, coach, and grow in today's fast-changing sales landscape. Today, we are joined by a guest who is number one in the CX Global Gurus list, an international keynote speaker, a creator of a new method, the Boscq method, with over 3 decades of experience in customer experience, mystery shopping, and employee engagement. Claire, you're an authority in the CX industry. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you. Claire, you joining us from the sunny shores of Jersey.
Yes.
And you were not born there. Where did you come from? How did you end up in Jersey?
Well, so this name is definitely not an English name. So I was born in France. I was born in Paris. And then my parents moved down the south of France when I was little. So I was about 7 years old. And I came to Jersey really out of finishing my catering school and really wanted to learn English because I knew in that industry I had to be able to speak English. And in those days, my days when I was 18, that was a long time ago. We had to write letters. Do you remember letters? So I wrote letters and I found a job on this little island of Jersey, which is based between France and England. And it was just fabulous. I mean, I think I cried for 6 months, my first 6 months. You think that you can speak a language really, and really you can't. Unless you totally immerse yourself in it. And yeah, I've traveled quite a bit in between, but I'm back in Jersey for the last 25 years now.
Amazing. If I asked your childhood friends what you were like growing up, what do you think they'd say?
I was probably very shy. Very you don't actually think about it. I was bullied quite a lot, I have to say, Daniel. When I was little, I was bullied quite a lot. And I think it put me into a box, which perhaps now that I grew up, I'm kind of exploded out of it and always felt that I'd missed out on quite a bit when I was young, actually, for quite a few years. And then when I started my catering school, it was kind of, I was going on into boarding school, so I kind of break away from the old patterns. And that's where I started shining a little bit more.
That's amazing. So you reinvented yourself because you took a gap from where you were into a new space, no history, nothing, and you can be someone else. Do you think that was based on an interaction with a mentor, teacher, or friend? Or was it just that moment that you went and you consciously decided that for your own self and your own journey?
Yeah, I think I've done that several times in my life, actually, when I think about it, because there is so much that you do now. I'm 52, so I've had several kind of moments in my life where I thought, this is just not working. I just cannot do that. I stopped and then I started something else again. So whether it was when I came to Jersey, started traveling, I worked at Disney World as well in Florida. That was a big learning for me. I mean, 32 years ago, and I still feel like it was yesterday. It was a really big learning. And then moving back to Jersey, where I used to be a hotel manager. And then 15 years ago, I was getting divorced. And then working in a hotel, being a hotel manager was just, I had 2 little children that were 6 and 10 at the time. And that was quite a lot of pressure. And that moment in time was a big decision where I'm thinking, no, I need to do something about it. And so I kind of chucked the job, chucked the husband, sold the house, set up my own business, and that was it. And I think every time in my life when I came to that moment and I just think, this is just not working. I am working too hard. This is not happening. You need to do something about it. And I've become a lot more conscious of what's working and what's not working.
How do you find that lane of gifting? If you had to speak to someone who is 45 to 55, who's now in that chug of every day, they've got the bond, they've got the car, they can't just uproot. What advice would you give them to re-energizing their view of life?
Over the years, learning different techniques and different things. So I've done a lot of NLP technique. I've learned a lot about emotional intelligence, a lot about realizing where we are, how we feel, and listening a lot to my intuition. And that was kind of a really big thing as well. I think we all have those guts feeling in yourself, and you know whether it's right or it's not. If you don't listen, it's just not going to work. And being able to consciously listening to that little voice or listening to that gut feeling and actually starting working with it. It's been for me, working with energy has been a massive transformation. During the pandemic, before the pandemic, I'd had my business for 12 years and then I lost everything at the business. In 3 days, everything was gone. I had quite a big mystery shopping company. I had 150 mystery shoppers around and everything was gone in 3 days. And that was kind of massive. I fell, single mom, 2 kids, still at home. I had the business. It was just awful. And I couldn't pick myself up from the floor for quite a few months. It was really tough. I cried so much, I had no tears left in my body. And one night the kids came up with me and stayed in bed. And my daughter told me, "It's going to be okay, Mum." And it was like, oh my God, it was like an electric shock of my daughter telling me it was going to be okay. I was the adult there and I was the one who was supposed to be looking after them. That was just that moment when you think, no, this isn't working. Come on, Claire, let's do it. Push yourself. You know what to do. You just need to do it and listen to you. The last kind of 5 years, I've been quite transformational because of that.
Transformation and being deliberate about it, it's a very brave thing to do. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate it, or they do, but we don't talk about it. So for me, the heroes of industry are single parents that are doing it on their own. I was a single dad for about 10 days when Jackie, my wife, was away. And how do you get everything done whilst you are still being a parent? It's a balancing act and a magic act that if you are married or you're in a two-person relationship and you're both sharing the weight, count your blessings every single day. Go and hug your partner. Because if you are single and juggling business ownership, being that transformational person and a mom, wow, that is huge. If we talk around you, you've spoken catering, you've spoken hotels, everything about you has been interacting with customers. What is your superpower, your trait or strength that helps you focus on customer experience so almost pedantically? It's almost like, this is where I'm at. How did you stick to that lane?
I think it's about care and deeply caring for making people feel good. I think I've always done that. My dad had a restaurant, so I was carrying plate from the age of about 7. And for me, it was always that joy to see people having dinners and lunches and laughing and you being part of that. And then working in Disney World, and it was all about the cast members and how we all participate to that happiness and life and making people feel good. It's a very, very selfish way of things because actually when you make people feel good, you feel good. You release loads of happy hormones. So why not do it? That's just like, for me, it just doesn't make sense when people moan and groan all day. I'm like, come on, man, just realize you'd be so much happier if you were making other people happier.
So giving gifts for you is a lovely thing rather than receiving. It's nicer to give than to receive.
It's a problem, Daniel, because I'm so used to give, you forget that you actually need that balance. You need to fill your own cup to be able to give to others as well. And we very often forget that because you're busy, you're doing things for others. And then sometimes if it doesn't come back, you're kind of feeling a little bit low. You feel the energy actually draining. You can't give energy if you're not feeling right in yourself. So it's really kind of finding those moments where you recharge your batteries, ways to do it. I love walking. I walk every day. That's my moment of creativity, but I do meditation as well. And I'll pause and I'll stop. I'll do visualization before I go on stage. I visualize myself. I have a big shiny ball of energy coming on that stage. And, so there's different technique that you can do to actually recharge your battery, give out that energy, but take in that energy as well. That's really important.
How can a sales leader give that to his team or her team without it going into that Wolf of Wall Street superficial layer of giving energy where we are focused on the wrong things? How do we make it authentic? How do we make it good and how do we make it consistent so that we don't have these ups and downs? If you give me 3 quick tips on that, and then I want to ask you a different question.
I think listening for sales teams is really important because I think the perception of sales teams is a very kind of driven and they want to sell you something. And it's not about that. It's for doing what's right for that person in front of you. And if you don't take the time to listen to that person, listen to the word that they're using, listen to their body language, watch how they move. If it's on the phone, listen to the voice, the tone, all those kind of things. We need to take the time to listen and watch our customers so we can actually give them what they really need.
We throw terms around like customer experience. How do you define that in simple terms that everyone can relate to? And why do you think it's such a critical discipline for modern business now?
So again, I think the people have been mixing the two words, the customer service side of it and customer experience side of it. And for me, I define it like customer service is a very transactional. You're coming in, you're doing that, you're buying your things, and then you're going again. We're moving into a place where if we really want our customers and our people, our external customers, to be loyal, to come back to you, the only way you're going to get somebody to be loyal and love you is if you connect with them on an emotional level. And that's, for me, that's that difference between CS and CX. It's as soon as you start looking at the customer's journey, and whether it's the sales journey, whether it's a marketing journey, as soon as you start, those touch points have to have an emotional connection.
But how do we do that at scale then?
Isn't it just amazing, right? That's why there's steps that you really need to follow, and businesses kind of forget and they kind of think, oh, now we can do this without thinking about it in advance. So we do talk a lot about the customer journey mapping and mapping out those touch points, because that's an important part of it. And it can become a massive task, really, when you think larger organization. But also once you does that task, you start releasing those frictions where things could be going wrong. So all of your team, whether it's a sales team, can actually consistently deliver that. And the key to everything, because you can deliver all those things, but it's at the end of that journey, how did you want your customers to feel? And so if you can define that intentionally, those feelings, it doesn't matter which way you're going to take that steps. Maybe, salesperson one will do it one way, the other one will do it another way, because we're all different. But as long as at the end of the sales process, they've made their customers feel happy, loyal, whatever you decide that those words are, pick 3 words. And as soon as you're able to define and intentionally be able to connect with that feeling throughout all of the touch points in your organization, that's when you're really kind of getting that CX right.
Wow. We talk about the customer expectation versus the experience, and the difference between the two is the value gap. And how do we bring those closer together? So if we've got the 3 words that we're looking at, that's going to be the way of trying to make sure that we are being honest to ourselves and bringing it closer through the sales or delivery or resale or wherever it is. So it gives you a constant line across. I really like that. Do you have any shining lights of organizations that are doing it well that you think we should be emulating?
I was talking to actually one of your South African CX experts, and Craig Lee has been working in CX for a long time. And him and I were having that conversation about that intentional emotions, really, those intentional feelings that we talk about. And he's done a lot of work around it with an Italian organization, an Italian family. And he really transformed that family because they had businesses in the US, they had shops in the different countries around the world. And actually, the moment they started doing that, because every country is different, right? Every person is different. And as soon as they started using those 3 words and those 3 intentional feelings, then everybody's on the same, whether you're in the US, whether you're in Italy, whether you're in France, or whether you're in Spain, everybody's trying to achieve that feeling. And so he makes it so much more powerful because there's that consistency that you can get. Everybody's different, but I'm delivering that feeling.
culture beats strategy 8 out of 10 times. If your culture is you've got a tattoo of the company logo, it's pretty strong.
You see a lot of organizations having their values on the walls and on cups and on pens, but actually when they recruit somebody, they don't even ask them their values. And you're like, hello, what's the point to have values on your wall if you're not actually recruiting your people who are going to have the same value and aligning themselves? You're taking a decision to add an extra service, but you align that service or that product to your value. If it's not aligned, don't do it. If that person doesn't align themselves with your values, don't take them on. They're never going to last.
But it gets difficult when times are tough, as they are now, for a company to stand by those values when it comes to deals. Do we do this deal if it's not aligned with our company culture?
Well, that's where authenticity comes in, right?
So are you seeing that a strong customer experience and a strong view on customer experience impacts a company's performance over time? Are you saying it's one of the key tenets?
I'm a bit biased because CX is what I do. So I'm like, well, if you don't look after your customers, you have no business, right? If you don't look after your people, you have no business. So for me, it's a giver. If we talk about CX and EX, you can't have a business without either of them. That's it. There's no two ways about it. And when I start talking to organization and they start saying, but yes, and but that, and I'm like, you know what? If you're making excuses and you don't think that your employees and your customers should be in the middle of your business, I don't think we need to continue that conversation because I can't work with you. Why am I trying to make you feel that your customers are important?
So let me ask you directly, is CX discussed at C-level enough?
Probably not, no. I think they still see CX as a cost and not as part of the integrity of their business.
But we've got a CRM system. Come on. How much more do we need, Claire?
Absolutely. I know. It's so simple, right? It is so simple. Customer experience, customer service, it's basic things. If you're doing a proposal and that organization doesn't even bother sending you an email back to say, thank you, we received it, it comes down to that. Paying your invoices on time. It comes down to every part of the business does CX. And that's what is not understood internally and externally. Internal customers between each other's, if they don't work together, the service isn't given between each other. It's never going to happen from the outside. So if the board aren't serving their organization in a proper way, well, I'm not sure that's going to happen from the outside perspective.
So if we've got folks listening to this and they are experiencing this lack of communication between departments, dropping the ball. We call this the IT salute. It's his fault. It's their fault. We're dealing with these issues. What are the mistakes that they can avoid trying to layer on customer experience without truly integrating it? What are the first 3 steps an organization can take to really start improving their performance? And if you wouldn't mind, like start on the sales side.
At the core of sales, it's trust. If you have no trust, or if the trust isn't there in the employees, the culture that you're creating hasn't built that trust. That's at the core of everything. So for me, trust, engagement, and care are the 3 things that needs to be at the core of every single culture.
How do we move from this auditing environment where, especially from a sales perspective, where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you? Leaning over your shoulder, into one of trust? How do we start on that journey?
Yeah, I think, again, it's about people and about caring for people. So if you start really kind of walking the walk and talking the talk, and really start caring more for your people. So leaders should start really getting to know their people instead of putting the carrots in front of them or going around and then making some big, bold kind of decision or giving some objectives which no one's never going to be able to achieve, and bringing it back to actually, hello, how are you? And how's your cat? And how's your mother? And getting to know the person. In the US, there's a survey who says 89% of people who go to work every day don't feel that they've been cared for in their organization. Can you imagine? That's almost 9 out of 10 people who go to work every day and they don't feel that the organization they work for doesn't care about them. I mean, how bad is that? Why would you want to give your time, your energy, everything that every day for 8, 10, 12 hours a day to an organization who doesn't care about you?
Are you finding coaching is well rolled out at most companies that you work with?
Probably not as well. I think there's that disparity as well with the kind of middle management where they've been kind of pushed into a situation where they're becoming managers, but they've not been trained really in what does that mean. And so they trying to do their best, but really they're not sure and they don't want to ask because they'll look stupid. So those people here at that level really need some support. But on the same time, you think the CEOs and the step above, a lot of them start feeling, and I'm saying that out loud because that's really where I'm going now, that things, the old leaders' way where we're bashing people on people's head and all those kind of things, it's not working anymore. We're coming to a moment where we need to bring more soul into what we do. We need to bring more care. We need to bring more of that listening and those kind of, so I talk a lot about yin and yang. For me, it's that masculine energy, which is the old way of leading. Let's push, push, push. Let's get some sales. Let's more. To the feminine energy, where it is more of the caring and more of the, if you feel right in your place, you're going to give more. And that's good. Just as simple. That's what we were talking about right at the beginning of it. If I'm feeling right, if I'm feeling energized and positive, and I'm going to give so much more to everybody. If I'm tired and I'm down, I'm never going to serve anyone, right? So let's put the people back into really making sure they feel good. So then they can start giving more.
I love that analogy of the yin and yang because management has become a bad word and we all have to be leaders, but you actually need both. We need the management side, but we need the leadership side. We need the coaching side, but we also need the teaching side. You know, if somebody doesn't know how to do something, you got to teach them. But if they do know, we've got to be able to change our hat and coach them into being better. I often say, love me enough to tell me when I'm doing badly so that I can improve. We've got to care for our employees enough to tell them before it gets to the performance improvement plans and disciplinaries. Daniel, you're not doing the right thing here. This is what you are here to do. This is where you are. Tell me about lane of gifting. How do we get our people there? You speak about in Boscq, the feng shui, the energy in there, but how does that translate practically to a company to ensure we've got hunters hunting, farmers farming, or zookeepers zookeeping? We've got sales coming in, handing over to a fulfillment team. We've got a business that exists that we can all get paid from now until bigger bonuses. How does that work?
So I think, again, we'll come back to that same analogy we're talking about. And I'll say lead with a yin, manage with a yang. So lead with your heart, but then manage with that execution and get things done. Whether we're leaders or whether we're an employee, if we really do things with the right heart and we're doing it because that's the right thing to do, whether it's helping another colleague in their whatever they're doing or helping your customers, it's all about relationship. You just said it. Whether it's your spouse and you're doing something nice at home because it's going to make him or her happy, you're doing the same thing in the workplace. So our relationships with the people around us, whether it's our family or whether it's our business, is still a relationship. So bringing more of that caring into it, but then getting the action and the things getting done, because then they will. And then you're getting that harmony of it. And I think sometimes we're too much on that yang energy. So we're pushing so much that we're not into the listening and we're not into bringing the two side of it. So when I talk about Boscq, I talk about our people and our culture. That's the inner energy of a business. We need to nurture the inner energy of the business so we can grow, we can really kind of nurture that. And then our customers and our environment, it's the outer energy of our business. So from the inside, we can really shine out to our customers. We are opening our doors for them to come and join us. And then they become magnetic as well. Because you know that you want to surround yourself with people who feel good because they make you feel good, right? We've got little mirror neurons in the back of our heads. And then when you've got people and they're shiny and they're smiley, well, you've got to do the same thing, right? So you want more people shining and smiling because they're the radiators. They radiate that energy. And then when you've got people who are mourning all the time and they're low, and that's when the teams aren't working because they're fighting with each other and they're battling battles instead of working together because they feel good to work together. And so it's not easy. It really isn't easy. Looking at some organizations, it's about coming back to some of the basics. And sometimes we forget the basics. Pure care.
You've said that so many times, pure care. But when we are sitting in tough times economically, we've got pressure to hit numbers. How do we keep focus on experience rather than shortcuts? We've got a sales leader who's got a team of 10 people. She's looking after them. She needs to make sure that they're hitting the numbers, but she wants to focus on customer experience. What are the two things that you can give to her?
Yeah, so again, if you push all the time, your people, they're going to burn out. Out of 10, you start having 1 sick, 2 sicks, that's going to put a pressure on the 8 others. So again, it comes back to realizing that balance or pushing is never enough. You need the resting, you need the recharging to be able to push again. If you look at the analogy of a car, you're never at 200 miles an hour in a car. You need to come down to gear 3 and then gear 2 and then start again. And then you need to put all the gears up and then all the gears down. It's the same thing. We need to look after our people as a sales team. We need to make sure that they have regular breaks, and we need to make sure that you're giving them that flexibility, listening to them, because again, it's all about personalization. We're all very different in very different ways. Not one person wants the same thing. Profiling your people is a very important part of it. We were talking about values earlier, but when is the last time you've asked your people for their values? What's important to them? And then once you start realizing that, you can then give them what they value most. And when you start picking on those very personal things, they start feeling important. They start feeling valued. So you're making your people feel valued. And then in return, that's what they're going to give back. Every single one of us wants to feel valued.
Do you think there's a mind shift that we need to do today to stand out from this AI automated, generated, mass appealed email contact personalization engine that can make us stand apart? What mind shift would that be if we listened at Claire's feet?
I love technology, and people are scared of using AI, so they're probably not using it and they're not seeing the benefit of it. AI will never replace people because that emotional connection, because of that only point is that emotional connection, right? So we're using the technology to enhance that experience. Isn't it just fabulous? I mean, you can send your customers a birthday card, a handwritten birthday card from Claire. I mean, Daniel, if tomorrow you receive a birthday card from me, but handwriting in saying, what a fabulous podcast, Daniel, let's do it again. You'd be like, whoa, that girl, she is on fire. I love her. I will want to do my podcast again with her. You will think about me all the time. So what are the things that technology can help to make you stand out with your customers? And then you've got the two, you've got the combination. So it's really kind of using that technology to be able to connect on another level. That will be where we're going. And I think, again, I am very much moving into more of that soulfulness, listening to ourselves, listening that kind of the essence that what's right for me, actually that doesn't ring right for me. Anytime that it doesn't ring right, you need to be able to say it. If your organization hasn't got a safe space for you to say it, you were saying earlier about as a leader being able to tell the people if it's not working. The other way around too. You need your people to be able to tell you and your customers to tell you that it's not working. And so enable this, use technology, ask those questions, listen to what they're saying, and create a safe space where your people feel safe that they can tell you that something's not working. And then you can actually go back and say, right, we need to do something differently because that's not working. That's not the way we are. And that's that trust again. We're building trust. We're conveying the right message. We're being authentic. We're being very congruent with our messages. And then it really shows in everything else that we do.
I think some companies are doing this extraordinarily well. And I think some pods of people are doing it really well. But I don't think we've mastered the art of listening and then executing on those outputs. So, yeah, I'm with you. The next 5 years in the CX world, what are you most excited about as technology evolves? What are the trends that you are watching closely?
I'm excited about AI and see how this is going to evolve. I think there's a lot of tools, if we talk about sales, that will enable the creation of deeper relationships. And if we can use it in a really positive way, that will enhance the experience of our customers and everybody else as well. You'll be more productive. You'll feel better. You'll be able to know your job better in a quickest way. Don't feel stupid because you don't know the answer. Just ask, and that's going to be very powerful. You'll be able to train your staff in different ways that you've never thought you could train them because you find that gap that AI was able to tell you that wasn't quite right. How can we enhance that? So I think in the CX side of it, using the technology is really going to enhance that experience that we're giving, making it more relevant, very much more personalized. And that's the beauty of it. When you have thousands of customers and thousands of employees, how do you personalize things? The more we're going to move towards that personalization, the more we're going to get connected and the more we'll be able to really kind of create that loyalty. So take it now, use it now. Look at ways that you can connect on that emotional level. Use it ways that you can create those feelings with your customers. So they're really kind of building that loyalty. And those organizations who are doing it right, that's where they're winning.
Amazing. We're going to start wrapping up now because I've had enough of your time and I'm so lucky to have you here. We may have to ask you back if I send you a personalized letter to Jersey. How do you stay up to date on trends in this area? Is there a podcast? Is there a website? Are there books that you can recommend that we read in your top 5 that you think we should have on our shelves?
Oh, yes, gosh, there's a lot of really good people in our industry. We have some very, very good people. And again, I think people buy people, right? And so it's about connecting. I mean, going on LinkedIn, you just put CX expert and then you see the whole list. Obviously, I'm on the Global Guru list. So it's a good way to start, right? You can go on the Global Guru list and you can start not just on CX, but on sales, on negotiations. There's some amazing people on those lists. We're on those lists because people nominated us. So it's not something that you pay for. It's people nominating you because they feel that you're giving out some great insight and you're very passionate about it. So go and check out those lists because those are the people and start following them and start listening to their voice because we all have a different voice. I'm going in a holistic approach of things with the fact that when I've come out with Bishui and bringing the Feng Shui side of it, that's really something that no one's really talked about before in the CX side, the energy that we're creating from the answers. And so I'm very much going into that side. So find the 2 or 3 or 4 different people and then start, like you said to me, you start stalking them, start looking at the things that they do.
That's brilliant advice. That's great. If you were interviewing you, what would you have asked you?
What's next? Where
What's
are you going?
next, Claire? What's next?
Claire?
Where are you going?
So yes, what's next? I'm preparing a new keynote, which will probably a book will be coming as well. And that's kind of a new model that I'm creating, an evolution from what I've probably based Shiri. And it's going to be called the Soul-Based Path to Prosperity. So that's where I'm going. So you're going to have to come on the path with me. So I can guide to shine, guide people, to prosperity.
I love that. I love how the link, the golden thread through is getting people to shine and just to be better at what they're at, which is wonderful. Where do people get hold of you? How can they contact your services, contract your services, listen to you? Where do we go?
So website is a good one, Claire Boscq. So Boscq, Boscq is the French way. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on everywhere, Daniel. I mean, Google me and tell me what you find.
Claire, I've really enjoyed the time with you. And I think from a sales perspective, from a sales management perspective, what I take out of today's talk is we need to be aware that the CX starts at our first marketing touch with the customer and ends when the customer leaves our network forever. It's a company-wide initiative. It's not just a once-off. We're not wham bam, thank you, ma'am. My mic drop moment for today is lead with heart, but manage with execution, because we're all about execution. So I really enjoy that. My final question before I thank you, what is Claire's 1%? That small, powerful difference? Is it a mindset, habit, or idea that's made the biggest impact in your career?
Probably walking. I know it's a physical thing, but the walking on a regular basis, even if you just start 15 minutes, it's walk. Take that space, take that time. That's a moment where you can be creative, when your mind opens up to different things. You can breathe, you can listen to the birds. Walking is magical. It's good for your body, it's good for your soul. It makes you able to listen and be mindful in every possible ways.
Awesome. I love that. So if you are listening to this and you are walking, remember, first thing in the morning, it's just a great way to get away from everybody. If you're working from home, take it after a call like this, go and interpret what's happened, make it part of you, take what you want, leave the rest and go. I hope, Claire, that you're going to have a lovely walk today. Claire Boscq, it's been wonderful to get to know you. I hope you have a wonderful summer in Jersey. I've got a
Thank you so much.
secret to admit. In Johannesburg, it's quite cold today, so I've got my old man blanket on my knees.
Oh my goodness, it's that cool.
Oh my word, my house, it's like camping. So it's really cold. So I wish you a wonderful day. And from
Thank you.
us at Because Growth Matters, we want to thank you for your time and hope you have just a successful quarter and a successful year, and can't wait for the new book.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Because Growth Matters. If you got value from today's conversation, please take a moment to rate the show 5 stars on your listening platform and share it with someone who might benefit as well. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Catch you next week.